welcome back to the last episode of the Rusty Ronnie Show. And in 2 weeks, we will transition into the Brotherhood podcast. With it being Easter weekend this weekend, so we're off next week, and then Nick will be gone the next week. So in 2 weeks, get back to the Brotherhood podcast. As I alluded to, next weekend is Easter. Today is Palm Sunday, so today is a little different episode. Not your normal crazy shenanigans that you usually get into. I felt like it was placed on my heart to bring it up with the boys to bring in our favorite Bible verses this week. After church last Sunday, they said that we could use our platform to spread the word of God, and that was just on my heart all week, and here we are. So this is a Jesus episode. With it being Palm Sunday and Easter next weekend, it's a great time to do it. So let's get started. I will throw it over to Riley over there. Unless Nick or me, whoever wants to start out.
Go first.
Whoever wants to start out, we'll start. Thank you.
I have my favorite Bible verse, which I actually use as my senior quote in the yearbook, is Psalm chapter 56, verse 3. When I'm afraid, I will trust in you. This one really means a lot to me because growing up, of course, things always bothered me. Well, of course, they still do. But anytime I would have that kind of an issue, this verse is what Mom always told me to go to and to remember it forever, really. And I've tried my best to, and of course I'm going to forget things as I'm only human. But yeah, that is why Psalm 56:3 is my favorite Bible verse.
On to me. Well, so mine's also Psalm. This is not my favorite. I don't really have a favorite per se, but I've read this one numerous times, and it sort of always stuck out to me. It's about forgiveness. So it's the joy of forgiveness, and it's chapter 32. It says of David, so it doesn't say like a Psalm of David. It just says of David, but I would assume that maybe that means he still, I guess, technically wrote it. I don't know for sure, but it does say that. But it's how joyful is the one whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. How joyful is a person whom the Lord does not charge with iniquity, and whose spirit is no deceit. So that one, I don't know, because it's about forgiveness. We're always taught, no matter what somebody does, how much of it they do, we're always taught to forgive them.
Yes.
No matter how many times they sin, always forgive. So I don't know, that one's always, it's stuck out to me. Always.
So I got two. I got my favorite verse, and I got another verse that I come across, I want to say last week when I was at work on TikTok, or when I was actually working. And we gotta have a little fun here. So the first one, so I'm reading from the CSB, which is the Christian Standard Bible, and I think that's what you got, right?
That's what mine is.
So everybody's just the CSB.
Works.
So it might be different translations than yours, but in mine, I'm not even gonna look at it. Romans 8:31. What do we have to say about these things? If God is for us, then nobody can be against us.
Yes.
So, that's the dumbed down version, but what this says right here. What then are we to say about these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? And then into 32, he did not even spare his own son, but gave him up for us all. How will he not also with him grant us everything? So I used to like, so I'll get into that in a second. I used to like Luke, or 1 John 4:44. Greater is the one who is living in the world. Greater is he than the one who is living in the world. I want to say it's 1 John something 44. I have to remember. This one is my memory verse. So, I'm like you, been going through some stuff, and who could be against you if you have God? Like, if you have God in your life, who could be against you? Who could strike you down, or who could, be mean to you, or anything? You know what I mean? Who could do that if he gave his own son?
Yep.
You know. So that one means really a lot to me. So much so that I want to get a cross tattoo with that on it, just so that I can always have that close to me. I know it doesn't really say, against markings, but that was like in the old days. It's not nowadays.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff in the New Testament, the Old Testament, was written back then where you got stoned for everything.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm alluding to my other verse. So this one's about Stephen. I don't know if you know much about Stephen. I didn't until, like I said, I come across his TikTok, and I don't remember the guy's TikTok, but I'm stealing it from him. So this is from Acts 7, verse 54. When they heard these things, they were enraged and gnashed their teeth at him. Stephen, full of the Holy Spirit, gazed into heaven. He saw the glory of God and Jesus standing, remember that, standing at the right hand of God. He said, "Look, I see the heavens opened and the Son of Man standing at the right hand of God." Standing, they said it twice. They yelled at the top of their voices, covered their ears, and together rushed at him. They dragged him out of the city and began to stone him. And the witness laid their garments at the feet of a young man named Saul. While they were stoning Stephen, he called out, "Lord Jesus, receive my spirit." He knelt down and cried out with a deep, loud voice, "Lord, do not hold this sin against them." And after saying this, he fell asleep. So, I don't know if you know a lot. I don't. That's why I'm trying to get in this and go into class and read, and I feel like we need to read it. It says Jesus was standing at the right hand of God twice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me why that stands out? You know why it stands out?
Wasn't that how they've always envisioned it? He's always standing at the right hand of God.
He's always sitting at the right hand of God.
That's right.
Oh, you are.
So like anything he says, when they say he ascended into heaven and sitteth at the right hand.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
right.
googled this verse and Google's like AI thing popped up and it said in Acts 7:55. So credit to Google and the gospel correlation. Credit to them people. Stephen, the first Christian martyr, sees Jesus standing at the right hand of God just before his death. Departing from the typical biblical depiction of Jesus sitting at God's right hand. This standing posture signifies Jesus' active intercession, solidarity with the suffering, and a welcoming standing ovation for a faithful witness. So he stands in it, offering heavenly assurance amid earthly condemnation. So the posture is interpreted as a standing ovation or a warm welcome for Jesus for the first martyr. So that tells me that Stephen had he was so faithful to the Lord that he was like, "Yes, get up here, you're ready to go. Get to your rightful place in your life." So a martyr, because I don't know what it means, is a person who suffers or is killed for refusing to renounce their religious, political, and personal beliefs. So Stephen had every opportunity to go against God and say, "I don't believe in him, I denounce him," but he never denounced him. He was always he always stood firm for his faith. So whatever trials and tribulations he went through, he always stood on this ground and said, "You're not changing my mind today. This is what it is. This is it. This is what's going to happen." So he was so faithful that Jesus stood instead of sitting for him.
Wow.
So that felt really, really powerful.
That does.
Like I
don't know
hope
much
to get
about
there
Stephen.
one day.
So that's
I mean, if he's sitting, that's fine as long as I get there. If I walk up and he's standing, that would. I mean,
Earthly, I don't think we'd know how to feel in that scenario.
You just up there, you just fall on your knees.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he's not standing, if he's sitting,
still,
you're falling on your knees as soon as you walk in the gates.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I don't know much about Stephen. That's like that. I have read that before. That's where I kind of. But that's the only little bit of
That's
Stephen.
the first time. Well,
That's
not
the
the
only
first time
little
I've
bit.
read it. Because last week I was watching TikTok and
they
it
pop
come
up,
across, and I was like, because I've been getting a lot of Jesus videos, and that one come across, I was like, oh, that's.
I don't know.
That's
Yeah.
like that's the only description of Jesus standing.
Standing, yeah. That's
Right.
I don't know much about Stephen. I've read that story. That's
I
like
don't.
the only.
I honestly think that's the only.
I think that is the only. He might have been
I
mentioned
don't know if
again,
that's
but
the
I'm not
only
sure.
like mention of Stephen. But like I said, I don't know. I don't know this thing front to back.
Mhm.
That would be like a preacher question, or we'll find out at a later date. Like maybe Stanley would know,
Yeah.
or eyebrows would know.
Yeah.
Jonathan honestly would probably know. But that's just something I don't know about. But I feel like that's the only, because the title of it is called The First Christian Martyr.
Martyr.
Marty R. Martyr.
It's pronounced martyr, yeah.
Martyr.
Yeah, martyr.
Okay, I said it right.
Mm-hmm.
So that I feel like that's the only one. And I think shortly after that, Saul became Paul, didn't he?
Yeah,
Somewhere
because
around
you said it mentioned Saul,
Saul.
right?
I
Yeah,
believe so, yeah.
It would have been after
I
because
want to say sometime
Jesus
after
approached him
that.
and said, "You're going to go by Paul now. You're
Right.
going to carry out my word.
Yeah.
You're going to do this and that." So yeah, he was still Saul by then. He was still a tax collector and still a. I guess he was technically a.
Yeah, Saul.
I don't know if they would have called it an atheist back then or not.
I'm not sure.
See, it goes down here.
But I know
Saul
he didn't worship God.
persecutor.
Yeah,
Saul agreed with putting him to death.
Because he that's right. He was a tax collector, and
I think so.
I think actually
He was. I think he was.
I think he was. Don't quote me on that, audience.
We know Matthew, one of the apostles, was a tax collector.
Yeah, I think Paul was.
But I'm not sure about Paul.
Well, because he persecuted Christians,
Yes.
He persecuted them, and then
he
swapped
did do
over.
that.
He was ravaging the church. He would enter house after house, dragging off men and women and put them in prison.
Yeah,
if they were Christians.
Right.
If Christians, Jews, and then of course Jesus appeared to him, blinded him, and said, "Hey, you're gonna go by Paul now. You're gonna be."
Didn't he wasn't he wandering in the wilderness by himself?
Was somebody else. No, that was Jesus. Jesus wandered.
See, I get confused.
Paul,
because I don't know much. That's what I'm trying to do. More stuff.
Yeah. I do know that. So Paul was going to. I don't know if it was Jerusalem. He was going somewhere. He was on his horse. I think he was on a horse. I'm trying to remember this. I have read the story, and then Jesus. I don't know if it was actually. It was just mainly it was a light. It appeared and it blinded him, and he's like, I can't see. And then it's the voice of Jesus saying, "Why do you persecute me? Why are you persecuting me? These people, this and that." And he goes, "Hey, you're going to go by Paul now. You're going to start doing this, this, and that." And then he said, "Here's your vision back." And then next thing you know, he's going by Paul, and he's like rejoicing. And
yeah,
I thought it was a pretty interesting story. Like he did some terrible things.
Oh yeah, he did.
He did some really bad things, and
that's
why also
the
forgiveness. So he was forgiven for his sins, and then turned right around. Now he's basically one of the apostles of Jesus, but way later down the line. Not like an apostle, but
he wasn't an actual apostle.
He was more or less became a follower.
Yes,
but years later,
because he wasn't around them when Jesus and the apostles were on earth. Well, the apostles might have still been.
Matthew. So this is actually funny.
I don't know if they had died yet or not.
I don't know if I told you about. So we were watching The Chosen last week.
I still gotta watch that.
I don't know. It wasn't this. It was the episode before that. They had a flash. It was a flash forward. So it was after Jesus had been crucified. So years later, and it has Matthew. He's got a big old beard. He's walking with almost like a walking stick. And he's older. He meets Mary. She's Mary Magdalene. She's hiding out in a cave because this is around the time where they're still hunting the disciples down.
Yeah.
So Andrew had just been killed in Egypt by the king of Egypt. He got speared. He brought the news to Mary.
Right.
But there was something about where she mentioned one of Paul's. I don't know if it was her or Matthew said, something about Paul's letter. So he mentioned Paul. So Paul is around.
Okay.
But I don't know how many disciples are. But I think this is set. I think the flash forward was about. I think it said 40 years after Jesus was crucified. So Matthew was basically in hiding. He was still there, but Andrew had just been killed. Simon Peter was already gone by this point. But it was I know out of the 12, I think all of them ended up getting either killed or.
That's what Pastor Jim said this morning. All 12.
Yeah, it was all 12.
No, Judah killed himself.
Well, yeah, Judas killed himself.
He did.
The other 11 all died. He asked this morning. He said, "Think of your 12 closest friends, and think if they would die in a brutal way just for a lie."
That's because I do know that Andrew was speared by whoever the king of Egypt was. After this point, he was speared.
He got speared. Somebody got stoned to death.
I think that was John. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that, audience. I think it was John. I do know that Simon Peter was crucified upside down. They put the beam.
Because he didn't want to do it. He didn't feel worthy enough.
Yeah, that's right.
The rest of them, I don't exactly know about the rest of them. And then I don't know. Matthew, I think, was one of the last. As far as the show was going, he was one of the last surviving apostles in hiding.
So I looked it up.
Yeah, Judas was the first. He was one of the first ones because he felt he felt terrible.
He had a lot of regret.
There's two different accounts.
Didn't Judah?
He hung him. Well, there's two accounts.
He was the one that
he turned him.
He was the one that betrayed Jesus.
That's right.
Judas turned him. So there's two.
So he had all the regret built up and then hung himself.
Yeah. So there's two accounts. The first one says he walked out into the field and then his body just gave out and he just died. The other account is, I think it's the marker,
I'm pretty sure.
It was the same thing. He walked out to a field, but there was a tree, and then he killed himself.
I'm pretty sure he hung himself.
But then they said when he hung himself, his body also, as it's written, it said his body went into a million. I don't know. It just went into pieces, like it just disappeared.
Spontaneously combusted.
Well, I think that's. I forgot which. I think
put in more of terms.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what it said. He hung himself, and his body combusted, and then it was gone. And then, I guess now it's like.
I he went to heaven. Probably did.
I don't know.
Well, I've seen some things about different shows have portrayed, and it's one of them. It was he was for eternally damned and burning in hell for what he did. Betraying Jesus. I don't know how. This was another show.
Sense.
It was another show.
That does.
So. But it makes I don't know if it was accurate or not, but it was. I don't know what show it was, but it was. And of course, it was a make believe show. But the guy, he was trying to get out of hell, and he ran. He had to go, and one of the things he had to do was get silver pieces from Judas, who was eternally damned to hell, hellfire, and all that because of what he did to Jesus.
What show was this?
I'm trying to remember what it was. It was it was entirely fictional. It was interesting, but it showed, and Judas was he looked not human because he'd been in there so long, but he had been eternally put down there by God. He said, "You're not coming to heaven because of what you did." Yeah. Now I don't know if that could.
Yeah, I don't know.
We really don't know. That's a question for.
We won't know till we get up there.
We'll get up there and ask.
All of our questions will never get answered.
Yeah, they never will.
When you get there, you're not going to worry about
earthly
questions. You're going to see the people you missed.
We're going to see Jesus. God.
That's all you want right there.
Saint Peter is going to be there to get. He runs as shown. He runs the gate up there, like the gateway into heaven, because they always talk about you meet Saint Peter at the entrance.
But yeah, you'll see the people you've missed, and then that's it right there.
And then you're just hanging out, looking down on the rest of the earth.
So I looked it up just since today's Palm Sunday, and since we don't know a lot, I asked ChatGPT. I said, tell me about Palm Sunday and make it lead up to Easter and after Easter, including Monday, Thursday, and Good Friday. So Palm Sunday. So that's Holy Week.
Yep.
That's the whole week is Holy Week. This marks the beginning of Holy Week. We're talking about Palm Sunday. The final week of Jesus' life before his resurrection. Jesus enters Jerusalem riding on a donkey, a symbol of peace, not war. Crowds welcome him by waving palm branches and shouting Hosanna, which literally translates to save us, right now. It's a moment of celebration, but also the start of the events that will lead to the cross.
Which part? Oh,
so
the
Monday through Wednesday.
Holy Week. The Bible does not name each of these as formal holidays, but they're important. Monday, Jesus clears the temple, calling out corruption. I'll probably see that. Or because we watch the Chosen every Sunday, that episode's probably going to be today because last week he raised Lazarus from the dead. We'll probably see that episode, I'm sure, for that. This is the episode I've been waiting for. I keep telling my mom, I keep telling her, I said, when is it going to get to the part where he starts flipping over tables? And I told her, I want to see this because I want to see how they depict it compared to the Bible. And then Tuesday, teaches openly and confronts religious leaders. That'll be really good. Wednesday, often called Silent Wednesday, a quieter day, possibly when Judas plans betrayal. That'll be interesting to see. This actually, and actually, I don't actually know Monday, the whole Monday, Thursday.
Yeah, I don't. Well, service, but I don't
really know.
We've been having it as a service the last few years, and it's very quiet.
Yeah, they said it's very dark.
Yeah, we turn the lights on, and then they'll read some of the scriptures leading up to the crucifixion. We'll do the Lord's Supper.
Communion.
Well, I guess it was
Anyways, Jesus shared from Maundy Thursday. Jesus shares the Last Supper with his disciples.
Oh, okay, that's what.
So that's the last.
That's
Supper.
less.
Yes.
Okay. I've never. Well, I've heard it called. I've heard Monday, Thursday. I didn't realize that. I actually didn't know that. I didn't know that was also the Last Supper.
Yes,
that's
it
what
is.
the
But
holiday term, I guess, would be.
Preacher said this morning it's very dark. Like
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah. And then he introduces communion, bread and wine symbolizing his body and blood. He washes the disciples' feet, showing humility and servant leadership.
oh yeah, we do also wash feet.
Yeah, wash feet. Yeah.
We don't do it at
I
ours.
don't want to wash my feet.
I think we stopped.
He gives a new command: love one another. Then this day is about love, service, and sacrifice beginning. Then we get into Good Friday. Oh, I thought we were.
I don't
We're
know.
just
We're
swapping
just
days.
swapping
Oh,
days.
okay.
Yeah.
Good,
So
I think
Good
that's enough
Friday.
for all of us to get to one.
Yeah. And then Good Friday,
So,
obviously, everybody knows.
despite the name, it's a solemn day. Jesus is arrested, tied, beaten, and crucified. He dies on the cross for the sins of humanity. The sky darkens and the temple curtain tears, symbolizing direct access to God. It's called good because of what his sacrifice means: redemption and forgiveness. So, he's hung in the middle of two thieves.
Yep.
Like, they thought he was that bad to be hung between two
thieves. Yeah.
So, I don't know if it was the one on the left or the one on the right, but one of them looked at him and said, "Jesus, save me. Please, save me." And in his final acts, Jesus saved that man.
Yep.
And that man met him in
heaven,
the
yep.
next,
Mhm.
as soon as he
Yeah,
woke
as soon
back
as he
up.
went, yeah.
So, like, there's a Red Clay Stray songs, "Will the Lord remember me?" And it's like, they're talking about this.
About that,
He's a
yeah.
thief, and he's like, "Will you remember me when you get there? I want to be forgiven, and I want to be up there with you." And he had to carry that day. He had to carry his cross on his back.
Yeah.
From I don't know how much being spit at, stuff thrown at him, rocks, spit. I said spit, and that whip that
Yeah, they whipped him
put
to the streets.
that deep flashes in his back.
I know.
And he's skinny, famine already, and they put that crown. I don't know if you've seen
Crown
that
of thorns.
TikTok. It's not just a small crown;
Yeah, no,
it's a big
it was
ball
Oh yeah.
that goes on his head.
Yeah,
that
it was a
the,
big ball
the
of
thorn
thorns.
was that big
Yeah, it was.
that went on his head, and like the nail holes and
I know you haven't seen it.
He could barely pull himself up. He had enough strength to. And then every so often he would just lose that strength to pull himself up to breathe. And that's just the gruesomest way to
You're
go.
gonna mention the
Passion of the Christ. It's. I know you haven't watched it. I think you watched
I've
it.
seen it. It was years ago. I was young, and
I try
That's
to.
Mel Gibson, ain't
It's
it?
Mel
Yep.
Gibson.
I watch
It's
it
starting.
every
We
year.
gotta watch that together.
I watch it every year the night before Easter. So y'all want to come by Saturday?
We're gonna be in Nashville. No, you'll be back.
No, I'll be back Saturday, right?
Saturday night.
I
Yeah.
might come over Saturday.
If y'all want to come watch it Saturday night at the house, that's fine.
I might.
But-
yeah,
I've talked to Dad and Mom, and
we could do. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I might.
I've never seen it.
It's years ago.
I'm telling you,
it is
it's
brutal.
rated R for
And
that
it's
reason.
It's in Hebrew. Not a lick of it.
You have to turn on English
Yeah,
subtitles to
It's all in
understand.
Hebrew. None of it's.
Yeah, I've never seen
That's
it.
why they consider it to be the most. It's the most.
It's the
accurate
most
depiction because
yes.
It's in all Hebrew because that's technically they did. Well, I mean we don't know, but they mainly spoke Hebrew, Arabic, and all these other dialects. There wasn't really any English besides if anybody from Europe happened to come over there during that time. We don't know, but that's why I like it. It's
So
all
it's like very scarring.
It's
Oh,
Is it worse than a horror movie? I'm putting
Well,
in.
it's
I'm putting in that sense.
horror, as in like with the like Halloween, the gore involved.
It's just bloody.
It is. I mean, they really emphasize
honestly, it
with
scarred me.
the
as a kid.
lashing, the crown of thorns, the nails.
How long is it?
It's
It's
about,
like
isn't it 3 hours?
no, it's not that
Oh, it's not 3 hours. Oh no, it's more like two. It's at least 2.5, I think.
I don't know if it's even that long, but it's pretty close. It's over an hour.
Yeah.
Over an hour and a half.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I would really like to watch it.
It scarred me. I watched it when I was younger. It scarred me as a kid. That's probably.
See, it's a Saturday.
That was one of the
nothing
most
to do.
violent
I
style
like
movies.
football, so like we could.
If you want,
It wouldn't be till 9.
Yeah, I think we.
But
Yeah, no, if it's Saturday, I'll come over that evening. I think I'd like that. I haven't seen it in years, just to to watch it again.
And I want to watch it with somebody. I don't want to watch it by
So
myself.
yeah, no,
I usually watch it.
he watches by himself. He watches every. I think I'm gonna
I've
go
never
over.
seen it.
I'll come over Saturday. I want to see that. it'd be a good, interesting to see again after all these years because I haven't seen it. But it was when I was younger because I didn't watch a lot of violent movies. That was probably the that was the most violent thing I'd ever seen when I was. Where I don't even remember how old I was, but I remember watching it.
That movie's 22 years old now.
Yeah.
And I think they're working on a sequel.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are, because Mel Gibson did say he wants to do like a sequel,
I think
but a
they're making
reimagined version.
I think they're making 2 more.
They're going to take place after Jesus comes out of the tomb.
Yeah, after he comes out of the tomb, yeah. I'm on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Holy Saturday? Okay, yeah. Holy Saturday, Jesus' body rests in the tomb. A quiet, heavy day of grief and waiting represents the silence between pain and victory.
All right, and then Easter Sunday, the turning point of everything. Jesus rises from the dead, the tomb is empty, death is defeated. Easter is about hope, new life, and victory, the foundation of the Christian faith.
No, they don't make 3 days. Unless you count Friday as 3.
I think that's what
they
do.
They technically count Good Friday as 3rd because he arose after he died for 3 days.
Have you ever seen The Shroud?
What's that?
Well, I can't say that I have.
It's not a movie. It's not
a movie?
No.
What do you mean The Shroud? The Shroud.
Right, Master Marshall sent me a TikTok or a podcast. This guy talking about the Shroud.
Are you talking about what he wore? The
Shroud? Yeah.
Oh no, yes, I know what you're talking about. Isn't it in a? Doesn't the Vatican have it somewhere in a museum? Like it's supposedly it's supposed to be the shroud that he wore when he died.
I don't know.
How do you spell the Shroud?
I guess
SHROUD. I think.
Oh, here it is. Right here. He basically took like the first selfie. Kind of. That. Like, they were trying to scientifically prove it. So there's spots on here that's bloody. That's his back. That's his face. So he took like this first selfie.
How did they?
Wow. Huh.
So like,
how did they do that with
I don't know.
The Shroud of Turin. But like each one of these spots is like black, blood, and you can see like that's the picture of it right there, and you can barely see his face. And then they make it a black light.
So it's what was wrapped around when he.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it like has holes and stuff. Yeah. You can see the pierce marks where they pierced him with the spears while he was up there. They were stabbing.
Yeah. When they stabbed him.
Around his head, you can see holes, and there's blood. There's dried blood around it. And like,
so it's what they wrapped when he died.
So
they wrapped him in a shroud.
That print is on there because like there was a flight. The podcast I listened to. Okay, hold on. That's not funny. It says America needs Fatima.
What?
Oh, it does randomly.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I just caught that and I was like,
that's a little off guard.
Well, okay. So back to you. So that shroud, the podcast I listened to, how he could have, while all that stuff was left on there, it was like a flash of light, like so many, like 10,000 million degrees to burn that image into the shroud without burning the stuff. They said he took the first selfie, screenshot kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. That is wild.
So that's pretty neat.
I swear the shroud. That's what they wrapped him in. I'm pretty sure that the Vatican has that in a museum.
It's somewhere.
It's somewhere. Yeah. I think because so this is a little side note. This other movie I watched, I forgot the name of it. Again, it was religious / it was pure fiction, obviously, but it was about Satan trying to return. It was a little weird, but what it mentioned was, I don't know if it was supposed to be the shroud, but it was in the Vatican. It was a museum. They had on display. I think it said it was supposed to be the shroud that he wore. And what happens is now, this is where it got a little much. This sort of, it was like, I guess, an occulate style cult that they were Satanists. They worship Satan. They break into this museum
to try to steal.
They kill a priest, and then they steal the shroud. And what they were trying to do is get this is where it got, it kind of lost me. It was still a decent movie. This part was obviously. They took the shroud because they wanted to get his DNA and make a new the weird lady was like a new Jesus. I'm like, okay, that's a little.
That's a little out.
So what it was trying to do is, like you people say, the Antichrist. That's what they were trying to make But so the whole premise of the movie is Satan rebels against God again from hell. He sends down Saint Michael, the angel, the archangel. He beats him, chains him in hell, and says, "You can't leave. You're stuck here." So then this cult group that worships him, they try to get it to where they kidnap a lady, they kidnap the shroud, and they try to get Jesus' DNA off the shroud so they can make a human form, because the only way Satan could return is in the form of a human. It was weird. But I like the religion, the history part of it, like the religious part of it was, and then the shroud was interesting. Then when it talked about that other stuff, that's when I was like, okay, that's
I'm just turn it off.
that's insane. It got freaky. It got a little freaky.
I'm sure.
I watched it. It was good, but it was supposed to be the shroud, and they steal it.
I think I still have that podcast. It was
definitely
pretty neat.
But so when you said the shroud, that made me think of that. But I actually do think that the Vatican has something. I don't know if it was a piece of clothing he wore or if it's the
I
actual
think some of
shroud.
them have the cloth.
But it's like in a display case. It's like under 24-hour. It's like supposedly one of the most heavily guarded things in the Vatican because it's.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So the Shroud of Turin is 14 foot long, 3.5 foot wide, linen cloth, bearing a faint brown image of a crucified man with AB-type bloodstains, believed by many to be the burial shroud of Jesus, located in the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in Turin, Italy.
That's what it is. Yep, it's St. John. Yeah.
It is a highly studied relic exhibiting wounds consistent with crucifixion, including spear wounds, thorns, and scratches.
That's why I've heard that before. So I knew it's like the I think it's the Catholic Church or the Vatican. They oversee it, but it's like,
right here. The
but
image
it's on display.
is a negative that shows a 3D, detailed and non-painted impression of a naked man with long parted hair and a beard. So it could be Jesus.
I mean,
nobody knows.
Nobody,
but
for sure. That's a pretty good
the
description.
the podcast, they were trying to scientifically prove it, and they're like, it shows all these holes
and stuff.
they all kind of line up
with the event. Yeah,
Right.
you say it lines up with the events of the Bible. I mean, that's probably the most pretty accurate description of Jesus that you'll get. It's got to be.
I don't know that guy in The Chosen. I feel like that would be him.
Yeah. Well, so I was watching a thing the other day too, that actor, and they always talked about like how it's like people are like, oh yeah, you're Jesus, and he's like, I'm not legitimately Jesus, but he said that role has been one of the most fulfilling roles he's ever, because he said his background is he's actually been in like comedy roles. That was his sort of, I guess, his thing. And then when they said, hey, would you like to play Jesus? He's like, because he's legitimately he's actually religious. Like he looks like. Yeah, he
just looks like somebody that would.
He does, but he wears. Even he said on these other shows, he wears a crucifix, like because he's legitimately. I don't know if he has a denomination, but he is religious. Like he worships. He does worship Jesus. But he said it's been one of the most fulfilling roles that he said he's ever done. Like and just something about it. It was like it's different. And he said he says he's felt closer to God doing that. So I thought it was really good, and I love him for it. He's probably to me, The Chosen is one of the best TV style depictions. I think they did. I thought it was the Angel, but I think it's Amazon that made it. Because I've seen it. I don't know if you ever saw the show A.D.
I didn't see that one, but the one before it.
Okay, there was that one.
I don't remember what it was called, but me and Mom watched it
so
when I was little.
And A.D. was also set. It was set right up at the crucifixion. It was okay. I watched it.
We never watched it. We watched.
Yeah,
I think it was called the Bible.
Yeah. But the Bible. So
yeah, me and Mom watched that, and it was really good.
At least in my opinion, The Chosen, I think, is one of the best, at least depictions and representations of what happened, because they take events from the Bible and then they put it and they try to represent like last week last week we watched Lazarus get raised from the dead. That was pretty interesting episode. And there's been other episodes. Some of the stuff on the show, I understand. I don't really agree with, but I understand they can only do so much.
Well, yeah, of course.
But all the actors, and it's like it is the best, I think, representation of trying to represent.
There's other movies that I've never seen with him in them. But he was in Jesus Revolution, Solo Mio.
Yeah, he's in
Once We Were Slaves.
He's been in a lot of stuff. He mostly did comedy stuff, but he said he's enjoyed the role.
Well, the guy I can't remember his name off the top of my head who plays Jesus
51
in Passion of the Christ. That actually playing that role brought him to believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
Because at first he didn't. I can't remember what religion he was, but him and when he and Mel Gibson had the movie release, a lot of people it turned them to God.
To God, yeah. Well, wasn't he? That was one of the most the hardest role he ever had to do, because I think I read it. He lost 30 pounds. He accidentally had whipped. He got a lash when they were doing, whipping him through the streets. He accidentally got hit by accident, of course, but he said it. And he was like, lost 30 pounds. He has I think he said he actually got a scar from that.
I think so. And you got to think this is, we have a lot of filmmaking technology now, but that was in 2002 to 4.
And CGI and all that was still very new. And
yeah. A lot of that stuff they still had to do, as stunts, of course, but still a lot of it was more real than how they do things today.
Be today.
5 seasons
of The Chosen, yeah. We're on season 4, episode 9. I think is what we're gonna watch tonight. So we're about to be on I'm pretty sure the 5th season is gonna be. I think tonight actually might be the Palm Sunday episode. So last week's episode he brought Lazarus back. So I think this episode,
the upper room part 2.
I think this episode's gonna be the start of the Passover because it actually hasn't shown how Judas is gonna starts getting the last couple of episodes. What I like about the Chosen, every few episodes, even before up to now, he would kind of drop hints that the disciples, wouldn't understand, but I could tell he's talking about I'm not going to be here for much longer. He was dropping a lot of hints at the end of certain episodes. At the very end of it, he would you could see the way he looked, or he would look up, or he'd say something, and I'm like, he's getting close to
Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus.
If you read in those areas of the New Testament, you can tell where he's saying this stuff.
Oh yeah.
So they're hour-long episodes?
They're just about an hour long. I think this episode tonight that we're going to watch, I think he's going to start I think it'll be Palm.
The last upper room is 2 parts.
2 parts, yeah. So it'll probably get to work because the last episode was Lazarus, so they're going to leave Bethany and go to Jerusalem. So it'll probably be he'll ride the donkey and then they'll go into Passover. And I'm sure it'll talk about Judas will start getting a little resentful. Because so far, Judas has been ecstatic. He's all this is the Messiah. And it kind of weirded me out. I'm like, I can't believe the way the show depicts him is he was excited. He loved Jesus. He was all about it.
He probably actually was.
And then I'm interested to see how they're going to turn it to where he's he's yada yada yada, give me the money, and then they take him and kill him, which I don't know. I like all the actors though. The actors that they have portraying the disciples, it's pretty good.
Is it Jesus? I remember that. Yeah.
I remember that.
What movie did I watch the other day? It was I don't remember, but it was pretty good.
Oh, another thing I actually learned about, I never realized this until I watched the show. I feel bad because I've read the Bible much. I didn't realize that Lazarus and Jesus were actually childhood friends. I never realized that. So they actually, I don't know if they were childhood, but they kind of grew up together. I didn't know that because the way they are in the show, him and the actor, I guess, that plays they were childhood friends. I had no idea.
They don't really talk about it.
I don't think the Bible talks about it.
Not that. Do you think Jesus grew up as a regular baby? Or do you think he just fast forward to life?
No, I think he grew up as a.
Do you think he was held?
I think because
great meal.
I think they said
and then all of a sudden he just started walking and talking, and then.
I think it's more grew up as a normal baby.
Yeah, because they said I think it's the first record of him actually starting to they could tell he was different as when he was 12. He went to the temple and he started kind of here's a 12-year-old. He's teaching them about God because they said Mary and Joseph were oh yeah, that's our son.
Yeah,
go get him. I think that was the point when he kind of swapped over to where they're okay, this isn't a normal kid. He's something's up with him. But I think he did grow up as a normal baby.
I think so.
Up until I think it was I said. I think they recorded as he was 12 years old. They were going to the temple, and the next thing you know, Mary's looking for him. She's like, "Where'd he go?" And she looks up there, and here he is teaching a bunch of people in a circle.
And all them old men.
And they're all old men. He's 12-year-old. So
yeah.
I think he did have a normal childhood up until he got into his early teenage years and then getting older.
I think so.
Didn't he die at 30?
He was only 30.
We believe 33.
33,
I think.
Because he wasn't that old when he
was
33. Yeah. Because technically, when we were talking about this Taekwondo, me and Marshall actually, and Tyler mentioned this, he watched some on it, he said technically the disciples, so in the Chosen, they portray him as they're all kind of still, most of them I think are all younger than Jesus, but he said, I think what they found out is the disciples were actually pretty young. They weren't they even suspect some of them were actually teenagers. They weren't so in the Chosen, they're all young men or kind of more middle-aged men.
Yeah.
But Tyler was talking about, he watched a thing where the way they recorded it is they think that most of the disciples, besides like Matthew, who was a tax collector, they think most of them were actually like teenagers. Like they were 17, because so in Jewish,
All had to be old.
yeah, because because of the Jewish religion, when you turn around, I think it's when you're like Jesus, when you're in your teens, you're 16, 17, you go follow a rabbi. So like Jesus was a rabbi, he's already in his he's in his 30s by this point, or late 20s, 30s by this point. So he was telling me he had watched, it was like I think another podcast, and they suspect that out of the 12 apostles, I think besides like Matthew and maybe a couple others, that like Simon Peter was married, so he already had a wife. The rest of them, I think they said, were basically like boys, but they were teenagers. Because what it was is the younger boys would start learning from a rabbi at a young age.
See, that's why Judas betrayed him, because he was young and didn't know anybody.
Yeah. So that's why I thought about that, and then I'm like, because in the Chosen, they all got big old beards, and they're all
same
pretty
with
old.
Passion of the Christ.
They're all like
But
he told
middle-aged men.
and he says it was just that's what they were theorizing on this, and then what they were researching is that they believe that actually a majority of the and which could be true because we really don't know. That's what I love.
We don't actually know.
You can speculate, and it's like you don't know if you're right, but you also don't know if you're wrong because we don't know.
No.
It was so many thousands of years, so they could have. We don't know how old the disciples were. They could have been.
They could have been 4.
It could have been 10 years old for all you know.
Yeah.
You never know. But he brought that point up to me. We were talking about it randomly the night, and I thought it was interesting. Like I thought it was pretty neat.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have much.
I don't have anything else. I think that was great.
Good.
Honestly.
I think so. That just was on my heart that I think
yeah.
we need to use this platform for something better than ourselves.
Well, yeah, of course.
Honestly, if we can get Stanberry on here, I'd like to do another Bible episode with Stanberry.
I think he would have a lot to talk about.
I'd love to hear
Why
about
not
his
just
story.
him? Let's get both Haydens.
Yeah.
That one would be the Bible. Then we could have them both back
We could have
on
them both back on,
as different.
Yeah.
As different. Oh yeah. Or
Yeah.
different. Get a different. Well, I guess they probably have similar perspectives.
So that's also that brings me to my other point. Our name change is changing. We're not only brotherhood and friendship and relationship, but we're also in the brotherhood of Christ.
Yes.
Brotherhood of Christ.
So that kind of could be our name, and just that's our group
chat.
That's but I was I think I was on days when I come up with this last week, or graveyard. I don't remember when I come up. I think it was graveyard because we come up on it last week, and I was sitting on graveyard. And graveyard, it's the middle of the night, and I'm just all these stuff. I have nothing. I have stuff to do, but sometimes I just sit there, and it's just like middle of the night, tired, and you just think of all these things. But
Yeah.
I was like, we're the brotherhood in Christ. That's like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We could be doing. We each bring ourselves up. So that's something to do with the name. But yes, I don't have much. I think that was a good episode.
I think that was
It
great.
was.
I love because I'm the history guy, but like honestly, one of my favorite things is like biblical history, like talking about.
And I don't know
very
if
interesting.
when we get to talk about it, and I try to put my 2 cents in. People help me out with it.
I love it.
helps
Yeah,
a lot.
because like I'm a history guy, but like honestly, one of my other favorite, like I have certain parts of history. Like honestly, what I've found myself more interested in is biblical history, before and after Old Testament, New Testament, even after the New Testament, like way on down.
Well, if you think about it, when it comes to biblical history, compared to, I guess, normal history, if you want to call it that, when it comes to biblical history, there's still stuff we're still learning about.
And stuff that we don't know yet.
Yeah.
I guess
Stuff that hasn't been found out yet.
I guess a real quick point is my other thing that I kind of want to learn about more is the Dead Sea Scrolls, where it's supposed to be all these scrolls that they're thousands of years. They're supposed to be a couple thousand years old because it was around the time of Jesus. I think I read a thing where they suspect Mary Magdalene might have wrote 1 or 2 things on there. Supposedly, that was another thing that Chosen in the background. She had been. Matthew's like, "Oh, what are you writing?" He goes, "Oh," she goes, "I'm just writing something." And they supposedly suspect she could have written some of the. They don't know because it's all in Hebrew.
Yeah.
So and then it was in the Dead Sea, which is filled with salt. That's why they call it the Dead Sea. It's covered in salt. The salt.
And that's where they think Jesus walked.
Yeah, that's where they think Jesus walked because the salt preserved those documents. Because otherwise, you just throw it in water, it's done for.
Yeah.
But the Dead Sea is because that salt, it somehow or another it kept whatever the parchment because it wasn't actually paper, it was parchment.
Right.
They kept it for a couple thousand years till they found them. But yeah, that's my other thing in history that I really want to unlock is the secrets of the Dead Scrolls. the Dead Scrolls.
The Dead Sea Scrolls.
The Dead Sea Scrolls. There we go. I can't say it all the way. But yeah. No, but that was.
That's a lot of letters to
I
get.
thought that was great. It was a great episode, though. I loved.
I feel like that's enough for today.
I think so.
It's never enough.
Well, it's never enough.
It's
yeah.
not.
But
Good.
Till next
Till
next
time.
episode.
Till
Yes.
episode, yes.
We thank you for letting us talk to you about this. And if you started this episode and this is not what you're into,
That's
click
okay.
off. Click off.
We have
If-
22 up.
21.
But if you don't want to
episodes,
click off and you want to learn, we're not preachers. Go to your local church, find a preacher,
Find a
talk to
preacher,
them.
talk to him.
If this changes how you live, if we get one person to go to Christ, we did something great.
Yeah.
If you did enjoy this episode, don't worry. I think we're gonna plan maybe every so often we'll dedicate an episode.
Sure.
I think
We'll dedicate an episode
I
to
know
Jesus.
I at least wanted to do one. That
At
was
least
something
one, yeah.
that I felt like we needed to do with this.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
This platform.
I think one a month, at least one a month minimum. We could, or not every
Or
month,
once
obviously,
every
or
2
once
months.
every
It
2
just-
months. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I love talking
That's
about it.
fine.
I love talking about it. It's great to talk about it.
So we thank you for checking out the last episode of the Rest Ronnie Show. Next time you see us, we will be the Brotherhood.
Yep.
So
The show's not changing, it's just the name.
Just the
Yeah.
new shade, yep.
So we mark the Rest Ronnie Show, yes, but we're marketing the Brotherhood as a variety
Yes.
Podcast, yep.
not just, you know,
Because it
the
involves
show.
all of us.
Yeah,
It involves
and
things we
We're
love.
going to talk about everything and
That was the premise
which
when we
is
started.
considered what we just
Consider
talked
what we
about
just talked
today.
about. We got some Jesus in today.
Yeah.
so-
So it's going to be anything and everything. So it's just three dummies talking on a pod,
Yep.
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And we felt like that needed to be the name of the pod.
Yeah.
To more professionalize and explain it.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
check
Considering
it out.
it's not just me,
Yeah.
it's all of us.
Yeah. Yep. So if we got anything, I ain't got nothing. So
You want me to close this out, or are we gonna do an ad read, or are we gonna
that's how I do ad reads
skip
on
an
this
ad
one.
read today?
That's fine. We didn't do our
We're
sports,
sponsored,
so
yeah.
we didn't. We can.
Today we are sponsored by Jesus.
That
we
is true.
thank
It is
him
Palm
for
Sunday.
we thank him for our life and our ability to do this pod
yes.
and have this platform to be able to share without persecution.
Persecution. That is true. Yep. That is
We
true.
live in a country that we can freely talk about this on the internet without persecution.
Yes.
So
And well,
we thank him for that.
before
I
we
think
go, I want to make sure that I want to wish everybody a happy Easter next Sunday, and go spend time with your loved ones for that one, because that's also what that day's about.
Oh yeah.
But yes, more than that, celebrate the resurrection of Christ.
Yeah.
Because that is the real man of Easter.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Thank
Thank you, Lord.
Well,
Can I close this out?
That's
Oh, I think I hit the button. Did I hit the button?
You hit the stop.
Oh, I was gonna close this out.
Oh.
Actually, I'm scared I hit the button on that one. I don't want to. Yeah. Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching the last episode of the Restorating Podcast. When you see this again, it'll be known as the Brotherhood Podcast. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed. Please be sure to hit that like button, comment down below, hit the bell icon if you want to get a notification every time we get a new episode out. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next episode. Oh, that's right. Put them in the description. Yeah, we'll answer them. We'll see them. Yeah. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you in the next episode. Have a nice day.